This is Colette Boston from Community Connection. Thank you for joining us. You're getting ready to, from 3 o'clock to 7 p.m., have Dr. Kaba Kamini, and then we're also going to have Dr. Umar. G Money is going to be in the place, as well as Shaka Flyer and Joseph C. Grant and Senator Kevin Parker. Danny Goodine will be in the building as well as the 100 men in law enforcement. We are looking forward to having a tremendous event. This is geared for men, and we are here for it. We look forward to having you join us. Make sure you buy your tickets early. If you cannot buy them early, buy them at the door. Hope to see you soon. I can be reached at caboston37@yahoo.com. I can also be reached at our Facebook with Colette Boston, Shifting the Paradigm, Community Connection, In the Know. And I can also be reached on Instagram, Shifting Paradigms and Colette Boston. I hope that you will reach out to me and that we can work together in the future. My number is 661-319-4664. Be well and do well.
You guys as well. As you all know, it's difficult being a man growing up in this time. And most of us live under some form of stress and PTSD.
Can't really hear in the back.
Can't hear?
Okay.
We're living under some kind of stress and PTSD, and we do it in silence because that's what we do. So that's what the conversation and topic is going to be today. So I'm glad you guys are here. And most importantly, the information you get here today, please take it and give it to somebody else. All right? We're going to open up with prayer. Like anything, the most important thing is keeping God first. Whoever your God, whatever your God is, we have to keep that first. So, open up to Bishop Nance.
Good evening, brothers.
Good evening.
I ask that you rest on your feet and put your hand on somebody. Let this energy be something that we bring together.
Oh, that's what rest on your feet.
Rest on your feet. Just make a little swing bit. Include all. Father God, on this day as any other, we want to start by saying thank you. We want to thank you for the many blessings bestowed upon us thus far, even those that we take for granted, the food, clothing, and shelter. We know that if you allowed us to wake this morning, Father God, that our purpose is not yet fulfilled, and we thank you for that opportunity. We ask with open hearts and minds that you allow us the understanding on how to move in your will. We know that times are difficult and we've come through many strifes and struggles, but we know with you all things are possible. For you can do anything but fail, say anything but lie, and with you we can accomplish all. We want to thank you for this gathering. Thank you for this gathering of black men under this here situation, coming forth to leave better than which we came. We ask those that are not here that you allow them travel in mercy until they return. We ask the blessings for you to keep our families safe while we're away and travel in mercy. And when we get to our set destinations, allow all to be well. We come with humility, open mind, patience, and allowance, respect for each person that stands forth before us today, and those that have things to say, we want to hear them in the same manner. As you continue to do all these things for us, we'll continuously lift your name and give it the praise in which it deserves. And let all God's people say amen. Amen. Amen.
Hey, Dr. Kaba Kamini.
Yes, my sister Colette.
How are you?
I am doing excellent, my sister. What a wonderful conference we're having.
I agree.
Yeah,
I agree. I see you have melanin on
Yep,
there.
that's the conversation.
Wow.
Yep.
So I have, I mean, you have been doing this for a while.
Yes.
What keeps you coming back?
The energy of the success. I see success. Like what we had in that room there with brothers coming together. I see success. Success energizes me.
That's such a well-said statement.
You know, and it's important that we understand this. We're going to get there. We just got to keep on keeping on. It ain't over till we win. That's our thought process. I have the spirit of Harriet Tubman. Harriet
like
Tubman
that.
say it's going to happen. And she never gave up. And if she didn't give up, I certainly can't give up.
Well said, well said. I see that your grandson wants to follow in your footsteps.
Okay, yes, just as an example. You know, really with my children, his mother I used to bring with me also to different places that I would go. And my thing is to build dynasties and to bring family with you where you go. And just develop. This is my latest book, Carbon Before Melanin. And to be an example for my family as to what I do. Whatever they choose to do. His mom is a phenomenal banker. He has an aunt, younger sister to his mother. She's a social worker. And our son, his uncle, is a techspert. He's a videographer. He's an educator also. But I never made my children follow in my footsteps. I just wanted to be an example to show them the success. So bringing my grandson with me where we go creates that atmosphere where he's with me, he understands our people, and he will be able to interact with them in a very positive manner.
I like that, I like that. I know you have to go somewhere, I don't want to keep you. How much is the book?
This book is $35. And I tell people, please go to my website, www.kabakamene.com. Or you can go to the link in my bio on Instagram. My Instagram is Kaba Kamene, Kabakamene. And you can go to the link and you can download any of the materials that you're interested in. Because I've got a lot of things up there also.
I would like to get one of the books.
Absolutely, my sister.
Okay,
All right.
thank you.
Thank you.
Now, this guy is not a stranger to many of us. And if he is, it's a pleasure and a blessing to get to meet him today. Historian, educator, example, and the epitome of a black man. Ladies and gentlemen, without further ado, I want to introduce Dr. Colette.
Peace, family. All right. You know, when I was first invited, I was scheduled to be at Nicholas. But when I spoke to my sister Colette, she invited me to be here. And the times that we're living in right now is each and every one of us knows, no matter where we are, by matter of degree, myself included, we are, can I walk around by this? Yeah. You know, we all are impacted by this society in so many different ways. And when my sister invited me to be a part of this, there was no way that I could ever have turned it down. Because brothers, we have to have a conversation. And this is why I'm gonna talk a little bit, but I want to open it up to us because we're lectured out many times. We're workshopped out. We've gone to all the lectures, all the scholars that have come before us, myself included, sitting at the feet of some of the greatest master teachers. Examples of what black manhood really is. But it's now a time in our history and our culture that we own this. You know, sometimes when someone comes and lectures, they're here and they're talking. But it's time for us to own our person and to understand, really, brothers, how great you are. I've visited various places, and everywhere I go, people, and when I say this, I mean people who are non-African in mindset. Because bottom line is, we're all African. There is only one race on the planet, man. There's only one race. And that race is the human race. And that human race was conceived, born, nurtured, sustained, educated, civilized, technologized in Africa. Specifically the Twa and Mbuti Khoisan people, who is the first family that came out of who we call Homo sapiens sapiens. Central and Southern Africa, okay? And out of this, after they got their show together, Dr. Clark taught us that then they took it on the road and peopled the planet. We're talking about a people that were civilized at least to our dates of 200,000 years ago. They formed the first governance. They formed the first concept of what a god would be, what a creator would be. They began to do a number of things from a geographical position and a geological position. And this is who they were. And this is who we are. And then as we travel across the planet, we got up into a certain northern climate, and all of a sudden an ice age came upon us. Black folk. We didn't realize that the ice age was coming. Because when we moved up, basically north of the Caucasus Mountains, up there by Russia and up there in northern Europe. Okay, this is where Africans traveled, give or take about 50,000 years ago. And then all of a sudden, about 40,000 years ago, an ice age occurred that froze the northern area, the Arctic area. These Africans, pigmented, melanated, looking like everyone in this room, pigmented, kinky hair, wide nose, thick lip, began to have to adapt to the climate. Just as we're doing right now. Because no matter how melanated we were in July, we're losing that melanation right now, no matter how melanated you may be. Our hair texture is changing. It is not as curly as it was in the hot weather. We're talking science. And that's very important to me, to talk science and not get emotional about this. Because what's happening at this point in time, and I encourage you, family, you can go to an article that was written on June 20th, 2018, by Sabrina Cabanese. Okay, when you're wondering what's happening out here, how they look to us and they want to blame us for everything. They take credit for what they did, but they blame us for everything that didn't go right. Okay? And so the reality of it is, and the other thing, I don't necessarily get too political because education is my lane. But I just want to remind us, when it comes to political parties, Malcolm X told us that Democrats are sly foxes and the Republicans are crazy brute wolves. But they both belong to the dog family. And the great Congressman Adam Clayton Powell once said one of the dirtiest words in the English language is liberal. So it's important that we understand we are alone. And if it's gonna be, it's up to me. That's what our proverb should be when we get up in the morning, look in the mirror, say, I love you, and then you say, if it is to be, it's up to me. We must depend on each other as we've done for centuries, for millennia, years, thousands of years it was us. And then, going into the northern climate, we have to adapt to the environment. So our pigmentation had to change. See, when you're in Africa, you got all that beautiful sunshine and plant life, and your nose sprawls out. Okay, because you want to breathe in all that wonderful oxygen that's coming from all those beautiful plants. But when you get up into the cold climate, all of a sudden your nose has to become aquiline. It has to turn in, and you have to grow hair in order not for the harmful cold winds to come up in your nose and then freeze your internal area. Our lips began to get smaller. Okay? Our hair, the oil, and see, in my book, Carbon Before Melanin, what I'm doing is I'm trying to explain why we're going through what we're going through. This whole concept of good hair, bad hair, that's just ridiculous. The texture of your hair is determined by the climate in which you live. And when you get, and I'm talking science now, when you get into your hair follicle, okay, you have hair all over your body, but I'm talking about the hair that's on our head right now. In your hair follicle, you have glands, and you have a sebaceous gland. And in that sebaceous gland, you have little packets of an oil that's called sebum, S-E-B-U-M. By the way, don't believe a word I said. I'm not here to make you believe. I only want us to think. Okay? That's very important to me, that we don't get to the point where I want you to believe. I want to make us think. Please. And if you'd like to get in, please, hit it quality.
I got an issue.
Good, how are you? My name is Colette Boston. What is your name?
Christian Williams.
And you are related to
Kala.
Dr. Kaba Kamini?
Yes.
Amazing. What did you think about the program today?
I thought the people in there were very passionate. They had a lot to say. It was a very good community, and I liked it a lot.
Oh, that's amazing. Are you proud of your grandfather?
Very much.
What is the best part of your grandfather that you think?
His knowledge.
Wow, that was quite well said. How old are you?
13.
What, 13 years old? Yes. So what are you trying to be when you grow up?
Me personally, I want to be an NBA player, but I also want to, keep in my, I also want to,
Of course, you have my phone, bro.
yes.
Dr. Kaba, when you have a chance?
I also want to follow in his footsteps, continue his knowledge, and share his guidance.
That is 20.
Wow, I love that. So you see what you missed. You missed Dr. Kaba Kamini.
An issue with black.
Oh, yes, I know.
I've got an issue with black because if we are a people who are at odds with racism, race-based concepts and constructs, why do we keep speaking and breathing this into existence?
The reason why I do it, brother, is because I'm talking to our people. And I'm an educator, South Central Bronx, I taught for 31 years. Okay?
That's what we should be identifying as.
Yes, but you see, brother, my only challenge is I always speak with the knowledge of the audience that I'm speaking. There are some of us that are not aware. And I know that many of the people in our audience, some of us, if you go back far enough, we got some great-grandparents and grandparents that are still talking about me. Okay? So we have all these terms that have been put on us. And that's what it is. But you see, the Honorable Elijah Muhammad once said, in order to clean a fish, you first have to catch it. And what I've always attempted to do, brother, is to recognize the audience that I'm talking to. So if I get into a big discussion about why we're not black, I might miss them. But if I can catch them, if I can get their attention, because many of us see ourselves as black. That's how we consider ourselves.
We have to remember that before the 1500s, European people, they had no idea they were white.
That's it. That's it. But our people don't.
But if we want to dismantle this thing known as racism, we have to start with that. We have to acknowledge that.
Well, I start with trying to get you first. And then after I can get your attention, just like there are people who have great challenges on many different areas of who we are. You see, what they did is they gave us so many disparaging names, and so many, because for me, black is a concept.
Yeah.
And also, there is only one black, and that's the cosmos, because we're brown. Where do you stop and think about it? Now, I've seen some black people. I was in Kemet this summer. I saw a brother that was black. I mean, I'm talking about people, indigo. But I understand your point. There are some people that will argue with me, brother, say, no, call me a Moor. There are other brothers that will say, call me a Hebrew Israelite. There are other brothers and sisters that will say, call me this. But as long as you know, if I say black, if I say Moor, if I say Hebrew Israelite, if I say Negro, if I say as long as you know, I'm talking to you. Once we get to that point where we're all united, with all these different names we call ourselves, then we can examine the point that you're making.
And I approach black people sometimes, I ask them if they are familiar with the MENA region. Are you familiar with the MENA region?
Explain it.
The United States, since the 1940s, has classified North Africa and East Asia as the MENA region. And the people from that region, you all know the people from that region, when they arrive in the United States, they are to be classified as white people. So when I see some white people, I just say, what is white? What's a white person? I want to crack their minds open because they have been conditioned to believe they are white. But then when I speak on the MENA region, that cracks their mind open. The whole concept of what is white then? If the United States government is recognizing these people as white people, then what is this?
Hold on. I think we're getting ahead of ourselves. We're a little bit ahead of ourselves.
I'm not getting ahead of us.
No,
What I'm saying
hear me
is,
out, hear me
we
out,
are
hear me out.
dealing with a
No,
construct.
hear me out. The brother's giving a lecture.
Yes.
At the end of the lecture, then he'll open it up for, hold on, he'll open it up for conversations. But what you're doing is, he's gonna get to where you are, but he's taking us from the beginning. Because you see that young brother over there? He don't know what you know,
Okay.
right? This young brother may not know what you know. So he's taking it from point A, then we'll get there.
Okay. He opened up the floor. I did ask.
Yeah, right, so,
And you know, please, brother.
go ahead.
No, I
So-
was gonna say, brother, I understand what you're saying. I've been in various presentations that the people are where you are with the knowledge. But people aren't there.
Exactly, bro. I just had this conversation with you. I'm sorry to interrupt you.
Please,
I just had this conversation with you, bro. Like, just now, me and you. So, I'm just saying, you still did the same thing to him. You know what the problem is. He telling you about the solution, fixing shit. Respectfully, hold on though, because I just told you, he can't understand what he's saying. You there. You there, bro. My man don't know what you talking about. Told you that, right? So, that's the thing, like, yeah, bro, like, we fixing shit, like, yeah, we hear you, bro, like, we know that. We know, bro.
You know what the,
Yeah,
you know, I've got
yeah,
a lot of
man.
lectures. You know what I noticed?
Come on, bro.
We never talk about preparing for war. Never, never talk about how to invest, how to
Never.
build money and wealth, so we can buy politicians.
It's confusion.
We can have all the knowledge. You know, we, like you said, we come in here from different perspectives, different understanding, different levels of knowledge. The one thing we haven't done is bond. That's the one thing that fears the
agree on
world
nothing.
fears. I travel the world. I'm a martial arts instructor. I travel the world. And when I travel the world, the first place I want to find out is where the brothers are.
You know what I mean?
So when I go to the brothers, I get this. And I'm saying, wait a minute. We have no outside influences in this country. This is the peach tree for bonding. But we take this with us everywhere we go. We have to bond. Overlook the differences, overlook the politics, overlook what you call yourself. Because in America, you still a nigga.
It's we the people. We is the people.
Yeah.
man.
So what we should know is how to bond, how to respect each other, how to lift each other up. Stop stepping on each other.
can't hurt each
Stop
other.
trying to impress a person on how smart I am. Because if we think like this, easy to break these. We don't think like this. And that's the problem.
Hold on, everybody. We're not recording in here. This is a private situation, so please, let's not record it. Whatever we say in here stays in here. This is us talking. Should be out for everybody else to hear.
100%.
They want to hear
Should
it,
be
they need it.
understood.
Exactly.
But lastly, in all due respect, family, all due respect, the brother has gently said, let the brother finish, right? We do a Q&A at the end of him finishing because everybody's gonna get the dialogue in, right? So we're not gonna allow him to go complete what he needs to complete. So out of respect, let's allow him to just finish. We do Q&A at the end of his presentation, and then we're good. We go where we need to go, right?
And thank you, brother. And thank you, brother, for your participation in what you're saying. I understand what you're saying. And you know something else, family? It is obvious that we need to have these types of presentations where there's no lectures. That the express purpose is for us to come in and everybody has something to say. So that way everybody that comes in knows exactly what's going to happen. You know, one of my greatest benefits that I tell people is, in my background, I started in New York as a kindergarten teacher. And brothers, I'm on a crusade to get brothers into the educational system. And when I come upon a brother in a classroom, in a third grade class or a first grade class, they don't even have to open their mouth. Just them being where they are has such an impact on those children. I'm telling you what I know. When I taught kindergarten, that was early childhood was my first license. I taught kindergarten. Now, can you imagine this brother sitting with his legs crossed, reading books to 4 and 5-year-olds. And when I used to have, like around 10 o'clock in the morning, you take them to the bathroom. And I always had an aide, a female aide, take the sisters, make sure things were right with her, and then I would be with the brothers outside the boys' room. The impact that I had on just one simple thing that they knew, that allowed me to teach them whatever I taught, they knew that I loved them. I had children say, "You look like my father. I wish I could call you Dad. You remind me of my dad." And they say, "Can I call you?" I say, "I am your dad." Because in the African tradition, every adult male in the community was Baba. And every adult female in the community was Mama. And I used to tell my children, I didn't bring you into the world biologically, but as long as you're in my presence, I am responsible for your well-being. Our children. I spent 31, I taught every grade, I taught every subject. I taught college for 14 years. I've been with our children just about every facet of their life. I've watched the maturity of our children through the process. And I've watched the pain that they go through. And you see, the thing about children is that as adults, we know what we're experiencing. For many of us, we know how to get rid of the dirt that they put on us. But our children don't know. And our children need to be spoken to. Right now, our children are experiencing something. They're hearing things that's going around, talking about what's going on in the political areas, or they're talking about what's going on in religious areas. And brother, just to pick up on what you said, there's a brother by the name of Nick who wrote a book on the compensatory code of white supremacy. And Professor Fuller identified 9 areas that we have to look at. He talked about one, but he didn't give it a specific area. I would like to take the liberty of making it the 10th area that we have to look at. So that when brother was saying, when we come together, we talk about spirituality. We need to bring all our spiritual leaders together. From agnostic to Zoroaster, from A to Z. Being Christian, being Buddhist, being Muslim, okay? Hebrew Israelite, whatever you are. We need to bring all of them together and have a conversation about how, from a spiritual perspective, not proselytizing or trying to get people to become what you are, but just everybody together, because my book on spirituality before religion will tell you.
I want to thank DJ Mario for coming through. He always comes through every time. It doesn't matter what is happening. I want to thank him for his dedication and hard work. I also want to thank him for everything that he does in the community. And I also want to thank Danny Gadeen. He is such an amazing man. I want to thank Marlon Rice for the use of the building. And I want to thank Joy Renault. She, man, helped me so much today. Thank you, Joy. I want to thank Patrick. And I also want to thank everyone that came and is coming to support. Thank you again. And let's forget not Shabazz. Come on, Shabazz. How you doing, Shabazz?
I'm doing wonderful. This is a magnificent event. I love it. It's great. The community is treated to a wonderful, wonderful event. It's an honor to be a part of it.
Really? So, Shabazz, what do you do?
I also do events. I do events at LIU, Long Island University. I've had Brother Kaba and also Dr. Umar. They've been there in the past, and I'm going to be doing some more in 2025, so stay tuned, everyone. And Sister Colette, it's an honor to work with you. You're a wonderful sister.
Thank you so very much.
All right.
Where can you be
You
found?
can look me, Shabazz Wilson on Facebook and on Instagram, Shabazz Wilson also. K Shabazz 7. K, letter K, Shabazz 7. I'm on Instagram and I'm also on Facebook. But check me out. I'm going to be posting everything up on it. Thank you. All right.
One thing and one thing only. That's the most important thing to understand. All religions are based out of spirituality. And all spirituality came out of Africa. And as Malcolm told us, they better be happy that we are so spiritual. Because if not, we would get rid of it. Period. Okay? That's just the bottom line. If we were not so deep, but you see, as a black people, we have what's called meh. Meh is a Cushite word, Kush coming from the eastern corridor of Africa. Meh is a cosmic love. It's a love that goes beyond your perceptions of between people. Meh is a love that goes beyond what is called agape. Meh is the kind of love that you say to somebody when you say words could never explain how I love you. Because when you cannot explain your feelings, then it's a spirit-to-spirit relationship. And so whenever you're around that person, I'm going to give you an example. This is what I say to you. Do you remember your favorite teacher? That teacher that stands out in your mind? It could be a kindergarten teacher, it could be your coach, it could be your martial artist sensei. But that person that you remember, when I said to you, do you remember that person's name, Miss Williams, Mr. Johnson, Kwame, that person, I would be willing to bet you that when you were in that person's presence, they made you feel safe. I often said Dr. Clark is who I give credit for my shaping of my education. And I often say that, you know, if Dr. Clark had been a basket weaver, I'd be here talking about weaving baskets. It wasn't what he was teaching, it was what that man made me feel. I met him when I was 12 and a half, he was 51. And I never felt uncomfortable in his presence. This brother made me feel like there was nothing that I could not do. He never told me that. He just interacted with me and used words that made me feel I could do whatever I wanted to do. What are your dreams? What are your thoughts? What are your ideas? And then with the history behind him, he let me know we're going to be all right. We're going to tell our children. We're going to tell each other it's going to be all right. You know what we've been through? Do you know what we as a people have been through over the past just 500 years? We all talk about ancestors. But do you know how many ancestors you have? And I'm talking about science. I call it E to the 3. Okay? Exponential expansion equation. You have 2 parents, 4 grandparents, 8 great-grandparents, 16 great-great-grandparents, okay? That's science, that's mathematics. If I took you back 500 years, if I took you back 20 generations, how many people came into existence to bring each and every one of you into existence? If I took you back to 1524, how many human beings came into existence mathematically? 2 parents, 4 grandparents, 8 great-grandparents. 1,048,576 human beings came into existence over the past 500 years. Each and every one of us will be sitting in these seats. 1,048,576 human beings came into existence to bring you into existence. And here we are thinking we're alone. Think we're alone? Alone? Now let me drop the other shoes. Because I only took you back 500. How many ancestors do you think you have if I took you back 5 million? And every one of their cells, every one of their DNA, everything that they represent, all of the good times, the not so good times, the happy times, the sad times, the frustrating times, dwell in each and every one of them. This is who we are as a people. This is what we've done on this planet. We built this planet. We built this civilization. We built every civilization on the planet. And everybody claiming they did it and we didn't do nothing because we're primitive. Because they know if you ever knew the truth about what you achieved, there'd be, well, how does Big Fat and Whitehead say it? Ain't no stopping us. Think of who you are, fam. Each and every one of you. You were born, this is the first thing I tell all my students. You were born with a very unique gift. Before you were conceived, the cosmos decided they wanted you to come into existence. And they gave you an assignment to fulfill while you were here. There's a job that each and every one of you is going to do. And it don't make a difference if you do the same thing. It doesn't make a difference if as a teacher. Every teacher has his or her own unique contribution to this planet. And that's why you're here. But the devil doesn't lie. The devil confuses. The devil gives you 1/4 truth and 3/4 lie. And sometimes we get so caught up in the 1/4 truth, we live in the 3/4 lie. The one thing I'd like each and every one of us to take away from this, you are Jesus. You've been given a divine gift, something. And it was the ancient educators that started this process of educating the youth to assist them, to facilitate them learning what that gift was. All the lights, can't see a thing in the room. All of a sudden you find a light switch, you turn the light on. You see the tables, the chairs, you see the microphone, you see the cameras, you see the balloons, the coat rack. My question to you is, did all those things appear in the room when you turned the light on? No, they were always there. Your light just went on. Once you find the light switch to your life, and you turn it on, there is nothing you can achieve. And if you can visualize it, you can actualize it. The hardest part is to visualize it. And what they hope to do, they mean those who would wish to oppress you. What they hope to do is to be able to deny you access to the facilitation of you finding the light switch of your life. To find out what it was. Now, we might have to be a nurse. We might have to be a FedEx worker. We might have to be a computer analyst. We might have to be whatever it is. But don't ever give up your dreams. Don't ever give up that thing that drives you, your passion. What's your passion? What is it that drives you? Whatever it may be. It could be art. It could be music. It could be computer analyst. Okay? Don't get that confused with social media. Because social media is the means to the greatness. See, we get caught up in social media. I understand. But we have to bring our spiritual leaders together. We have to bring our economic leaders together. We have to bring our Karen Hunters together, and we have to bring our Dr. Claude Andersons together. We have to bring all those great minds that deal with money and economics. Economics comes from a Greek word called oikos. O-I-K-O-S. That's where echo comes from. Oikos. And it means environment or your home. And to the ancient world, the most important thing you had was your environment. How you tilled the land, how you grew the agriculture, how you did what you did. The land was what brought you the wealth. Okay? And in that wealth is how you were able to express yourself. Money is an illusion. It's a total illusion. Okay? You want to catch somebody's attention on the subway? Pull out a wad of money, just start looking at it. Every eye on the train is going to be on you, looking in your hand. Because they brought us to a point where money becomes so important that we would do many things that under other circumstances we would never do. We got to bring our are people of economics together. Here's a question of power. I'm gonna ask you, I'm gonna set up something and I'm gonna say to you, you're powerful if. When I was in the Board of Ed, there was a sister that worked as a nutritionist. And she and her sister lived in a small house in the Bronx. They had a little backyard. And sister used to grow fruits and vegetables in season in the Bronx. And she knew I liked salad, so she used to bring lettuce and tomato from her garden. And she would make a salad from it. I knew another brother that worked on Wall Street. This brother had big bucks, okay, a lot of money. Now, I'm gonna ask this question. If all the stores closed in the neighborhood, if all the restaurants closed in the neighborhood, my question is, could you eat there?
No.
Think about that brother on Wall Street that had all them big bucks. Money green, but you can't eat it. But think of those two sisters that worked and had that little place in the Bronx where they could grow their own food. They had power. Agriculture is one of the most important things. That when we did that migration from south to north, coming up to the big city thinking that we'd have better opportunities. My daddy's from Alabama, so I understand these stories. We need to get back to the land. Some way, somehow. Even if you grow that little, you know, my family and I, we used to grow avocado in the window. Even if you live in a project, you can grow food in your window. Don't ever lose that flavor of agriculture. Agriculture. It's something we should never lose. And if by chance you could get a hold of a family member that has it, if you got family down south, if you got family in the Caribbean that has that type of land, that's power. That's economics. Why? Because that's the environment. That's your home. You can eat. So they can close all the supermarkets they want. But if you can grow your own food, you can still eat. And if you can still eat, you can still live. If you can still live, you can eat better. The better you eat, the better you think. The better you think, the more you can produce. Economics. Now, I'm not saying that money don't have its place. Money has its place in the real world that we're living in. They say that money is the root of all evil. But money is also the root to the emancipation and liberation of people too. Because when you support those that come before you, the teachers and those that have different things that they sell, when you purchase them, they can support you, they can do more. So there's a place for it as long as you understand what is real wealth. Okay, please, brother.
I want to say something about the garden. So this summer I started my first garden. But I think gardening been in my family for years. My grandfather's a gardener. So anyway, I started my first garden. And you won't believe it, I grew so much the first time, but I learned quickly. There's nothing I can't learn, I can't see you do. I learned just like that. So I saw that and I was watching some videos on gardening. I'm like, it just came to me. I said, I'll try it. I grew so much pumpkin and collard peppers. Just in a little space. I said to myself, everybody do this? We could do this.
That's it.
Just think about it. From that little spot that I just did in my neighbor's yard. I grew pumpkin, collard, peppers, cucumbers. Wow, it had excess. From my friends.
Yeah.
Everybody do that?
Yeah.
Everybody just do that? Can't stop it. I'm like, wow, and I said, wow.
What was the thought that made you do it?
Well, it's came to me. It's like, I have thoughts, and I'm like, wow. I've seen it for a while, and I'm saying, I want to try this. So let me try it, do it. So I went to a plumbing class.
A plumbing class.
So, and then I started out doing this plumbing, so I couldn't figure the ways. I didn't use it for the plumbing, I used it for my garden. And I got it to grow, and I got implemented with the bee, and it grew a lot. And I'm like, man, my podcast was, it's kind of, it just came to me. It came to me out of nowhere. I'm like, okay, just, I can do that, do this, and I did it. And it grew. I'm like, wow.
Well, actually, although it may appear to you that it came from nowhere, it came from somewhere.
ancestors.
That's what I was going to tell you. That ancestor that you said was a farmer. Although, because why would that thought not be in your mind if he is with you or she? You see, when we open ourselves up to the realities of the world that we're living in, things start to happen. And for our young people in particular, to be able to understand this and to know this and to be able to see that this is the possibility, we are a great people. Just your story alone that speaks about how nature loves us. Nature wants us to be able to do what we're doing. And so it becomes important that we don't cloud ourselves with what's going on out here in the confusion of the world that we're living in. Labor is another area that we have to get into, okay? I hire my own family to work with me. I used to bring his mother with me years ago to sell the products that I had. At the time it was video cassettes, okay, not that far back. Audio cassettes, long before the DVD and CD, which some of the folk in this room wouldn't even understand, because it's a whole nother type of generation. I brought my other daughter, I brought my son with me. My son and I worked together. And now my grandson. And now he has other family members, I will bring them too. If you want to know where to start with hiring your own, start with your family and create the dynasty.
We're going to open up for
Sure.
questions. Now, there's a lot of brothers in here, a whole lot of testosterone. Everybody got something to say. It's going to get a little heated. I already know that. But know that it's coming from a place of love. All right, so it's beautiful to see everybody in here from all different types, ages, shapes, sizes. Beautiful when I see this many brothers in the room. So when you guys open up a conversation, I want everyone to speak from the heart, but I want you to speak respectfully. But say what's on your mind. All right?
And you know, I'd like to also add to what brother's saying, because one of the things I always did in my classroom with my students is we always have rules of conduct. And the first thing we said was everyone has a right to speak. Everyone has a right to their opinion. Everyone from the and what brother said is so important, because if your comment, no matter what it is, comes from love, that's what's important. Because I've had people, say, I don't agree with you. I say, well, that's good.
You're not supposed to.
You're not, no, I said, I don't want you to believe me. I just want to make you think. And if you don't agree with me, that means you thought about what I said and you don't agree with me. That's fine. I don't care.
Nobody in the room the same. We can't think alike.
You shouldn't think alike.
It's impossible for two people in the same
That's
room
it.
to have the same thought. It's
That's
impossible.
it. But
So let's build and let's build.
But what unites us
Us,
is
right here, right here.
Is
Right
love.
This is
Love.
fellowship, not.
This has to be how we do this now. We have got to come together in love and respect. So that if love and respect is at the heart of our comment, then we know that you cannot offend me because it's coming from love.
Still sharper than steel. You can't hurt each other.
That's it. Please, my sister Colette.
So, there were 10 things that Dr. Cress-Wellesley talked about. She talked about that what we need to develop. We need to develop military strategies. She said we needed to have our own educational systems. She said that we also needed to ensure that we were responsible for our own spirituality. And she said our mentality needed to be fixed. And she said our emotions, as men, you don't tap into emotions and that's okay, but you have to be able to deal with your emotions. Because if you don't deal with your emotions, you are very emotional. And when you're very emotional, you're not able to think properly. She said that we need to also have social stratifications. We need to have social constructs of our own that are for our benefit. We need to have political power. She said that we also need to have power as far as, many of the warriors back in the day used to dance. And used to be able to move in a way which didn't cause them any pain. Many of our warriors, they're so gouty and messed up, they don't even have that ease of movement that they should. They need to exercise. But not just exercise your body, but exercise your mind. We need to be reading more. We need to be writing books. We need to have also a printing. Where's our printing press? Where are our banks? What is happening? We need to also make sure that we are tapped in as far as to our families. Because when you get that far out sometimes, you forget about your family. We have to stay tapped in. And I think that for many of us, we forget that because we're working so hard. We have to work towards a goal, and the goal has to be for us. It cannot be for anyone else. I am tired of building other people's banks, businesses. It's time for us to build our own. And the only way we can do that is if our minds are in alignment. And alignment can only come when we have understanding.
You're talking about the code of conduct,
Correct.
which is more important than the leader.
The leader is a facility.
Right. We need a code of conduct.
And my code of conduct is black first.
I want to point this out about that. Whenever we've had a leader, our most significant leaders here or on the continent, they've pretty much been taken out by one of our own. Because one of our own was co-opted. That's why we need code.
Yes.
Not necessarily a leader.
Yeah,
Well, the first
that's what they
civilization.
do. The minute they find that we rally
Giving them
around,
stuff.
Well, let's start with,
Giving them comments.
the minute we rally around the person, they take him out. But we're not training ourselves to all be leaders.
That's the thing.
Let me ask you this. Can you tell the story of Shaka Zulu's brother?
We don't even know what a
His
leader
half
look
brother.
like.
well, hold on now, well, who's they?
That's what I'm talking about.
What
When
a
we
leader
talk
look
about they
like.
so much, who are the they that we're talking about?
I always say that they are those who would wish to oppress.
We gotta name who it is though. We can't keep.
Because sometimes
But
they,
it's hard because they come in many different flavors.
Flavors and colors.
And some of them are the ones that you least remember something. When you read that story of Uncle Tom's Cabin, Uncle Tom was a hero.
Yes,
It's a Sambo you have to watch.
Exactly.
Uncle Tom was the one that was in the big house and used to bring the information down to us in the field. The Sambo is the one that lives in the field and goes up and tells his master. So that the key is, we have to understand the difference between an Uncle Tom and a Sambo. Because Uncle Tom has come to us to believe that this is the person that betrays us.
See what this young lady said? All those things that she mentioned, I try to live my life according to all of them.
Yes.
Because as a teacher, I don't want to teach by what I say. I want to teach by what they see. And we talk too much, do very little.
Let me give you the 9 areas that she spoke about with Professor Neely Fuller, because that's who Francis Cress Welsing was quoting. It's an acronym I use, REL, SEL, WEP. RELSELWEP. I add H and M. The R is religion. Well, we gotta bring our spiritual leaders together. The first E is economics. We gotta bring our economists together. The first L is labor. Okay? Now that's the REL. Religion, economics, labor. Then you have SEL, which is, now I have a question about this use of this word. Not that it's wrong, but because of the world we're living in today, it's sex. Okay? I tend to use gender issues. Brothers and sisters. A society. Okay, when you're looking at what to build, I'm into building dynasties, not nations. Nations rise and fall, but dynasties last forever. Nations are built by people. Dynasties are built by families.
What is the first code of conduct? We need to talk about that. What is the first code of conduct that you want to see?
Respect.
Code of conduct, I have my hand up.
Yes,
You know,
yes.
calling out.
Please.
So my question, you spoke about economics. So I'm old enough to remember when Giuliani was in office, he locked up a lot of brothers who were selling on 125th Street, but you had to have a vendor's license. His brother spoke about agriculture. So for those who are into agriculture and want to grow their own vegetables and fruit to sell, what are the legal parameters, if any, that exist for New York? That's my question. It's a business, right? We're talking about business, and economics is a form of that. So what would you advise for that?
I think that you would have to approach a politician and a lawyer to find that answer out. Because you see,
You would need, and the only reason I'm giving you this advice is because I took my, if you go to my website, read about it. My name is DougPierre.com. I took a building from drug dealers, okay? And the only reason I did that was because I wanted to open a school. And in the process of trying to get that school, I had to take the whole building, but I couldn't do it by myself. So I had to convince a bunch of people to follow this dream that I had, that we could take this city on, this city building. It took us 13 years, but in the process, I learned how to maneuver. And I tried to teach as many people as possible how to do it.
You're talking about purchase, you got some people together to help financially.
No,
Right?
There was a way of doing it, which a lot of us didn't know. And when I tapped into it, I tried to educate as many people as possible.
what did you tap into, brother, that gave you that information?
The community. Because I wasn't the only one. I didn't want to do no building. I just wanted a school. And there were people in the community who were doing this homesteading thing, which I didn't know anything about. So when I tried to get into the building to clean it out, to open a school, the building was controlled by drug dealers. My block made the front page of the New York Times. Daylight drug dealers, lines around the corner. And that was back in 83, 84. So when the police came because they threatened me, pulled guns on me, we were fighting in the street. And police came, locked up the building, threw everybody out of it. I was so pissed, I popped that lock off, put mine on. I didn't know what I was doing. I was just so pissed. And then I went through the community working in other buildings to find out how it was done. Yeah. And then it was 2 years of me working that building by myself before I could convince enough people to do it. There were 20 apartments in the building. When I had to sit down, and this was during Mayor Dinkins' time, when I had to sit down and talk to them about it, we were negotiating. They said, I wanted 5 apartments in that building because it's 5 floors. I wanted a whole floor. And they said, no, you can't do that. They said, let's split it in half. 10 apartments. I said, because I was thinking about all the people I would have to work with, all those different mindsets. All right? So when we talk about leaders, most leaders, a lot of leaders like to lead from the rear. They want to tell you, but they're not examples. So taking on this responsibility, my building is multi-ethnic. The first time I got a group, I involved white people. I wanted to be like the UN. And then I said, wait a minute. Every time we would have a meeting, I would talk and everybody would listen to the white guys who didn't know shit. I mean, didn't know anything. And I said, you know, that's the way we're thinking. So I had to get rid of them. And then I had nothing but Asians, Hispanics, and us.
But why did you get rid of the white guy if they was listening to him?
Because they didn't know where they were going. Why would you listen to somebody who's going to lead you over the cliff?
But the white guy was listening to you, right?
Yeah, they would listen to me, but
if you feed the white guy the information that the people need to get.
No, you misunderstand, brother.
Yes, it does.
Yes, it does. You created
Let me reiterate. Let me reiterate. I'm saying, if the white guy is under your control, and you're feeding him the information.
We ain't feeding him nothing.
Let me just hear it.
But I'll tell you what I said.
Can I just hear it?
But you gotta, if you weren't there, then you should be asking me
That's what I
questions.
asked.
So let me
I
tell
said,
you.
wasn't the white guy under your
Let
control?
me tell you.
All right, well then go ahead and explain it
Thank
to
you.
me.
See, that's our problem.
No, it's not
You don't
right.
understand. It's not a problem.
But you wanna know
Let me
something else?
explain it.
I'm listening. I heard exactly what he said.
My brother, if I could just say,
So I'm gonna say something real quick.
hold on, because I just wanna say one thing.
I'm explaining how the
I wanna go
process.
back.
I was only explaining the
Yes,
process.
yes, but you know
It wasn't
something?
for interference, it was to hear, maybe you
Let's
pick
go.
up some things, learn some things,
Yes.
maybe duplicate the process.
But let's go
But
back.
before I can get to that, we do what we normally do.
Yeah, but let's go back to a concept, because it's so important, because what's happening here is part of the sandpaper that we gotta go through to get where we got to go. We have to experience this, but we also have to have resolutions as to how to move out of it.
Yeah.
Because the more we go through this, which I think is very healthy mentally, otherwise, if we don't do this, then we'll always acquiesce and we won't do the hard work that causes the pain. Everybody wants to be healed, but nobody wants to have the operation, and operation causes bloodshed. And when I say bloodshed, I'm talking about intellectual.
When you said it's healthy, what's healthy?
Healthy is the fact that we as a people have been taught and trained to be against each other.
Yeah.
And things happen that, for instance, I don't believe in problems, I believe in challenges. Obstacles, because obstacles need to be gotten over. Problems are things you gotta solve. We don't have to solve this, we just to get over this. See, sometimes words and what they mean to us take us someplace. What happened here is very healthy. And as long as we know that whatever comment brother made, whatever comment brother, what came out of love, came out of an explanation for we as brothers to be able to get through a process. And sometimes it causes this. But this is part of life. This is part of what we're going through. Do you know what we've been through? You know what we must have gone through on the plantation with each other? Do you have an idea of what we must have gone through? When I study our history, I fall in love with ourselves.
We can't even comprehend that.
We are so powerful in who we are as a people. And to the elders in the room, what you have gone through, we're here because of you. What you have gone through, you were the ones that faced the winds of all that you've gone through in order for you to subside the wind, because it blew on you, but by the time we were behind you, it didn't blow on us like it blew on the elders. And every generation makes that happen. And for our young people, I want them to be able to see this, because they see conflict in the neighborhood. But what is the resolution to the conflict? And if we can show them as the adults that we can have the conflict, it's healthy, it's part of who we are, we're different, we have different opinions. So I think it's very healthy that we go through this, but we show our young people, how do you move through it? This is the healthy part of it, because you know, when you start coughing and sneezing, you're healing. You were sick before, because all that mucus was settling in your lungs, it was settling in your body. That's when you were sick. When you started sneezing, that's when your body began to expel the poisons. They began to expel the toxins. So we think we're sick when we coughing and sneezing. No, you're getting healthy. It was before that you were sick. And so it becomes important that the way in which we as our African minds demand that we do, we begin to look at the words that we're using and to be able to overcome this, because brothers, we have to love each other. Brothers, we've been through some stuff. But what I'd like to do is because I know people want to get into the conversation, because I know my time is coming down. I know our brother's going to be here soon, and I want to make sure he does what he does. And also, if any of you are interested in purchasing any of my books, I want to give you the opportunity to do this, but I want to follow the protocol of the day. So let me give it back to brother or to Sister Colette, so that we can continue what it is that we were doing.
Well, we're still moving forward with the Q&A.
Okay. Sure. Did I answer your question, by the way, brother, about the healthy thing?
It kind of went around because the other martial artist said something and he went over.
All right, if you don't mind, I could address this question and finally get to ask my question. If anybody, if you don't mind.
Yeah, I have a question.
All right, good.
You had gone spoke about listening to people who doesn't use agriculture. One point of history which I don't hear enough of is worker cooperatives, and I'm connected to that because my family was part of one of the first worker cooperatives called the Mississippi Delta down in the Mississippi. I think that African Americans in general should be looking at worker cooperatives. It's the flip side of capitalism, where the meager workers are the owners of production. So it's a way we can develop our own economic system, our own economy, own our own businesses, without having the few at the top who take all the profits from the meager workers. And I think that's a historical conversation we need to have, and as well as an economic conversation.
Well, then I think that when Sister Colette was writing down certain things, I think that we need to have someone like you address the group in order to explain what that, see, these are the types of things that out of this we can branch off and begin to develop these concepts. Because what you're saying is absolutely correct. The same way they have gardens, like in the Bronx, they got a lot of gardens, and in Brooklyn, I'm sure they do, and in Brooklyn, they got folk that live in houses where you got a garden in your backyard. These are things that we have to start to talk. The question becomes that we need to organize it, and organizations like this can begin that process where they can bring you in with that expertise to explain to this group how you did it, because that becomes very important.
Listen, I have land.
Hold on a second.
I want to speak to the agriculture part.
Yeah, that's what I was talking about.
I was raised in Virginia. There's a guy named John Boyd that sued the federal government for the black farmers. I don't know if y'all know about that. Right? That's my hometown. John Boyd got 2,000 acres of land. The Shell family got 2,000 acres of land. Now this summer, we went down south, because I got sick of y'all eating watermelons without seeds. Who does that?
Yeah, I hear you, brother.
All the time, brother. But the reason why I really went down there, because the black farmers are under attack. Now we soldiers, bro. If I'm from Virginia, you from North Carolina, you from Georgia, you Mississippi, how many of y'all check back home and see how people doing? Let me tell you why I checked back in Virginia. Cambridge, Virginia, there's been 6 young black guys been murdered down there. Y'all know about that? No. The heirs to the black farmers. Say it again? The heirs to the black farmers. So if I kill a baby, who's gonna get the land? And I just had to make some trips to show a little different look down there, let them know that they got friends elsewhere. But if we're not going to be the friends elsewhere, we might as well stop talking about black farmers. I just want to say one more thing. Howard Project. A few years ago, I raised 4 tons of food in Howard Garden. I ain't see y'all out there 4 o'clock in the morning with me. The food was free. All you had to do is bring some scraps down there to make some compost. No chemicals or nothing in it. Let's stop talking about it, let's be about it. We got 6 gardens right now in Brownsville. 6 gardens. I'm in the Board of Ed. I'm in the agriculture school. Trying to make that connection with my homeboy. Cause say I can't trust upstate. I can't trust New York with farming for us. But we ought to be able to go back home and get in that dirt.
Why not?
Well, you know, somebody needs...
Why not upstate?
Yeah.
Because when the pandemic came down, the food that we were purchasing from upstate was not the best you could eat. It wasn't.
Who was growing? Who was growing?
White farmers upstate.
That's what I wanted to talk about. I tried to get in touch with Claude Anderson, because he was talking about he's getting land and growing food to feed us. So I was trying to get in touch with him to give him my land to grow this food. So I'm still open to that.
You said Claudette?
Well, you know,
Yes, Dr. Claude.
see, here's what I'd like to suggest. Somebody get this brother's information.
Yeah, I want to get your
Okay, somebody, and every one, this is what I mean when I say to each and every one of us is a genius. Brother, you got something to offer this group. Brother, you got something to offer this group. And how many others of you have something that you bring to the table that you can facilitate? Standing here and explaining this story. And it can't be an annual meeting. It has to be a more registered kind of thing. You know, and we gotta get busy. We gotta be about it. No more talk. We gotta make it happen. If you got 6 gardens, if this brother was giving away food, he can explain to you how to do it. If you've got your information, we've got to be able to share so nobody leave this room without putting your information, your email, your contact, and what you can offer the group. Because we may not get to everybody in the room, but I know you have. Martial arts, talk about security. Come on, family. We can do this. But the thing is, when we have meetings like this, we all talk, but then we all go our separate ways. We got to write down our email and our contact so that we can make things happen. Please, Sister Colette.
So I'm writing down what you're saying. So far, I've had respect. I've had a way of business. What else do you want for the code of conduct? So that it's something that people can follow and have success.
I got one. The one thing that I noticed, we don't speak to each other. We don't acknowledge each other. Just walking in the street, getting in the elevator, we pretend like we got the bubonic plague. So,
Just did.
yes, you gotta do these incremental steps because of how long the conditioning has been going on. So you gotta make these I'm in the martial arts. So if I wanna get a person from a white belt to a black belt, there's a process. So you have to go through this process. And in the beginning, it's small increments. So the first thing I do when I'm in Thailand or Indonesia and I see brothers is speak to them. If I see a brother all the way on the other side of the mall, I will make it my business to go over there and say hello. Why? Because I'm training myself to untrain myself.
And if I can add to what brother's saying, I'll give you a story about when in the building where I live on the top floor. And normally when I'm going out, I'm the original person in the elevator. And there was this brother used to come on the elevator. And I said, hello. Okay, that was his response. And then, okay, so I accept what he did. And then the next time I see him on the elevator, I said, hello. He said, long story short, the third time I said, hello. And he said, hello. And then, when I was on the elevator, he said hello to me. We have to be the strong ones to understand the pain that our people are feeling. Somebody has to break through. Sometimes you say, oh, so you nasty now. Okay, so I ain't got nothing to say to you. But we have to wear that down. It's like the story of Aesop's fable about the competition between the winter and the summer, where they winter and summer had a deal. They said whoever can make the man take his coat off will win. So it came winter time and winter blew and blew and blew on him. Right? And the more the winter blew on him, the more he held to the coat. The more he blew, the more he held to the coat. And then wintertime ended, summertime came, and what summertime did is that it penetrated the heat, and the man freely took his coat. So sometimes it's good to just penetrate and love our people constantly and never give up on them. Now, I'm not saying to put ourselves in harm's way, because sometimes you can put yourself in harm's way. What I'm really saying more than anything else, family, is that we people, darker than blue, need to be able to be strong enough to not take things personal and allow our people to be able to do it.
Yeah, I have a question.
Please.
Yes, sir.
I would like to know, I'm from the I would like to know,
where did this come from? Because in the West Indies, from the time you enter a shop, a bar, or whatever it is, everybody this morning and say, good morning to everybody. How are you today? You know, have a great day, you're leaving, that kind of stuff. You know? But here, in America, when you come here, like you're saying, who was the gentleman who was saying in the elevator? Yeah. When you come in there,
I can tell you one.
I can tell you the reason. Because on your island, it's you governing yourselves. When you wake up in the morning, the constable look like you, the school teacher look like you, the doctor look like you. There is a cultural nationalism with all of the people in the Caribbean. And when you ask a question like that, you don't know our history. Our history is 400 years of preventing that from ever happening. That's how they've controlled us. So when we have people from other countries come to America, we try to educate you, but you'll still think like your island, your country, instead of taking that away and learning this experience. So a lot of times, I have Caribbean people who look down on us, but they don't recognize how wounded we are. And you cannot.
You saying us?
I say, when I say
it's us, it's us.
No, you're missing what I'm saying.
But it's
He's
still a
talking about the
separation.
Caribbean.
But the Caribbean is us.
I know that, but I was trying to explain to him.
I understand that, but
why.
You know, the other thing that also, the sociology here in the United States, the sociology in the United States, and then I'm gonna break it off, okay?
Well, I just want to calm him down for a second. One second. When I started this thing, I said we're gonna start from love, right? So wait, hold on. So everything someone says, whether it's a disagreement with you, it's still coming from a place of love. The agitation comes in when we respond in a way that's flippant, right? So when someone says something that you might not agree with, and you go, what's wrong with this guy? That's agitation. Wait, everybody put their hand down for 1 second. Wait. That's agitation. That's bringing friction. We don't need that. If he's saying something that you don't fully agree with, it's okay to have a discourse. But once you start to get into that agitation, we got young people watching how we handle, as adults, how we handle our business. And if we can't handle our business as adults properly, what you think they learn? Right? And you're the martial artist, which means you should be full of discipline. But I'm just saying, you should be full of discipline. So even if someone says something you don't like, your discipline is supposed to make you take it down.
Now, what I want to do also is I just want to reinforce the fact that this is all part of the healing process. Okay? Always keep that in mind. This is part of the healing process. As long as the facilitator can bring everybody back around to focus on the issue. This is what we got to go through, fam. Whether we like it or not, we're going to go through this, we're going to regroup, and we're going to move forward. What I do also want to let the brother know is that one of the things, the hidden thing in the enslavement of African people in the United States, you were not permitted to speak. You weren't permitted to speak. You couldn't say hello to the other brother that was enslaved or the sister. You couldn't say it. And if 4 of you got together, one of them had to be there. You could not be in a group. Like right now, they have to at least spend 80 of them here in this room. But how many people are in here now?
You have slavery in the Caribbean too.
Absolutely. But see, the thing is that the enslavement of African people in the Caribbean, because you see, the Europeans that went there couldn't stand the heat, so they had to get out. And so now, basically, you see yourselves as the prime ministers, you see yourselves as the doctors, you see yourself here. It's still underneath, and even people that come from the Caribbean that come here are still trying to figure out, why is it still like this? Now, family, in the interest of time and knowing that our brother doctor is coming, what I'd like to do is I would like to end this part of my contribution. And brothers, I'd like to thank you, and sisters, I want to thank you. The fact that the one thing I've learned as I've matured, the most valuable thing you have, if I could get our young people to understand this, just this one thing, the most precious thing you have have all the money in the world, you can lose it, you can make more tomorrow. You can have wonderful houses, they all burn down, you can build another one. But there'll never be another December 15th, 2024. So how you spent your day today is valuable. That's why we say pay attention. Because it is a commodity. Time is a commodity. And I just want to thank you for taking your time out of your day, which you could have been doing a whole bunch of other things, but you chose to come here and to come together in fellowship. And even no matter what, how you came here by matter of degree, the time that you dedicate to this, particularly for our young people to be able to experience this. Our young people are feeling this. They may not interpret it the way the adults do because we have a collective memory of our experiences. But for young people, this might be the first time it ever happened. And the way in which they view this might be something. So those of us who brought young people with us, talk to them tonight. Talk to them on the way home. Let them know what they experienced. But more importantly, let our young people know it's going to be all right. We've been through worse than this.
That's right.
Yes, yeah, everything gonna be all right, because that's what the three birds told you.
Brother Abu, and then that's it. Brother Abu, and then we're gonna wrap up this portion.
Yes, ma'am.
So I want to thank Dr. Cabo for last time I seen him downstairs at African Village. You know, got the information. But there's a brother in the room, and I'll call him out. But he came out with a piece, and I followed the piece after his. And the statement was, how you gonna make the black nation rise or you want to make it socialize? That's one. I came out after bringing the black man going to free. So basically, this brother here is an elder in the village, no question. I know I'm not taking anything away from Dr. Cabo, you know, or any other historian. But he's in a tradition coming out of Dr. Ben, Dr. Clark, Dr. Jeffries, Professor Smalls. This is the tradition of folks who had their fingers on the pulse, not just of the history of our people, or the mystery of other people, or the solutions. So in the future, I'm going to suggest, right, in the future on the flyer it says lecture, presentation. So the protocol for that is, as Joseph said, you know, this is a lecture. The Q&A comes after. So I would have liked to have heard more of his presentation. Because if you've seen Hidden Colors, I'm sure you have, right? You see any of his stuff on YouTube? There's a lot of information inclusive with solutions. And so we have to, the Sister Claudette gave out 10 points from Dr. Professor Peswellian. There's a whole lot of points that we need to implement. Yes?
Yes,
sir. Thank you.
Yes, absolutely. And you know, the other thing is, if you want to take out your phone, you can go right to my website right now. I got a free e-course study guide up there for you. You can go to www.kabakamenet.com. I'm also on Instagram. I use my Instagram as my community bulletin board. And that's at Kaba Kamene, Kabakamenet.
Come on, Doc, I'm old, you gotta slow down.
K-A-B-A.
I gotta get the Instagram first.
Okay, Instagram is KABAKAMENE.com.
The website is?
The website is .com, KabaKamenet.com. So you just go there, you put your email in the slot, and the first day of my free e-course and study guide will come to you. And then for 5 extra days, each day will bring another class, okay? And then my Instagram is Kaba Kamene, and that's my community bulletin board. That's how you all found out I was gonna be here today, was because I put that up on the bulletin board. If I'm doing a webinar or a webinar, I'll put that up also. And I brought my books with me. If you're interested, these are the books that I've developed in order for us to understand who we are as a people from a scientific perspective. I'm not an emotional kind of person. I've got emotion. Emotion ain't bad. Emotion out of control is called anger. Emotion under control is called passion. I'm very passionate about what I do. Nothing wrong with passion. That's proactive. But when you get angry, you cannot move forward until you release that anger. So I like passion. That's not to say I don't get angry. Because I do, because I'm a human being. And I also have fear. I have a right to have fear. I'm a human being. I have no right not to have courage. And this is what I'm saying to us right now. You have every right to have fear. You're a human being with the emotions that you possess. You have a right to have fear. But you don't have any right not to have courage. And this is what Malcolm X taught. Malcolm X had his intrepidations, but he still came forward with the courage that was necessary to be able to, and don't be afraid to understand something. Because sometimes the price of freedom could be death. And when you're not afraid to die, you take the most important negotiating factor from those who would wish to oppress you. Because they don't want to die. I don't want to die either. But I'm prepared to die. But I'm ready to live. And I just want to thank you all. My day, I will be a better person because of having this experience with y'all. And I want you to know something, brothers. I love you. I marry you. It is a cosmic reality. When Sister Colette called me and told me about this event, I'm supposed to be at Nicholas. I'll be there. But when Sister Colette told me that we were going to have this gathering, I know we brothers got to get together. And I want to thank all the adults that brought young people. I want to thank you because we need our young people to understand how great they are. And we have to get together with our sisters. Come on, you know, I'm going to wrap up as I go over here.
You don't have to wrap up, keep going.
We call our sisters, the Kushites, we call them Hemet, Neset, Waret. Can I hear you say that? Hemet, Neset, Waret. This is what my brother Mfudishi dropped on me. Hemet, Neset, Waret was a metaphor. And that's how our brothers related to the sisters. And they said that our sisters, Hemet, Neset, Waret, was the deep well of water that we went to when we were parched by the desert. Now, if any of you have been in the desert, you know what parched is. It's not thirsty. Parched is when you be blowing dust out your mouth. Now, think of that metaphor. Think of that. Think of that woman that is with you, brothers. That when you are parched by the desert, there's only one thing you want, only one thing on your mind when you're parched by the desert. That's water. And just think that when we are in our most vulnerable spot, our most painful spot, what is it that we want? We want our sister. She is not just water. She's not just a well. She's a deep well of water that I come to when I'm parched by the troubles of the world. We gotta build our dynasties. We have to build our families. A dynasty is only as strong as its weakest family. See, brothers, sisters, we don't have a problem with relationships. We have a problem with commitment. We have a whole bunch of relationships. It's a commitment that we must have towards each other in order to understand that we're going to do something better. This is what the Honorable Elijah Muhammad told Malcolm. In order for you to build what it is that you have to do, you got to go find it. He found one of the finest women he could, Dr. Betty Saunders, who became Dr. Betty Shabazz, who was his deeper well of water that he returned to at some of the most troubling times in his life. We have to get our relationships and our commitment together. And we have to now join hands with our sisters and equalize it. Because I come from the Board of Ed, so I was around mothers and grandmothers all day long. But I saw a difference in 1995, when Jesse Jackson spoke at the Million Man March and said to the brothers there, he said, the first thing that you can start to do is to go to your children's open school. You know, family, when I was teaching and we had family school night, sometimes we had 3 or 4 names on the attendance sheet of parents that came in to find out about their children. In that November's parent meeting for the report cards was the first time that we had it, 3 pages, back and front, of fathers that came in to check their children. Okay? We can't let the Million Man March go away. I was part, with Dr. Colette, I was part of the Million Youth March. You too? All right.
I went to the African Holocaust Conference.
Okay, all right. Yes, ma'am.
Junior college, man.
Okay, yeah. It was really a powerful event. Dr. Colette, all praise to the ancestor, Dr. Colette. You know, Dr. Colette and Dr. Colette used to say to me, you know, brother, I don't talk to people like you talk. And I say, you know, Dr. Colette, you don't talk to people like I talk. But I see the value. Everybody need to hear what an angry black man says. You need to hear what Dr. Colette had to tell you. See, I can say it a certain way that you can absorb it, you can swallow it. But Dr. Colette would make you start shaking. And sometimes it's necessary to hear what an angry black man sounds like, to remind you what's on the other side. Like when Malcolm told Coretta Scott King when they went to the same meeting. Coretta Scott King was at the meeting, and Malcolm looked at Sister Coretta, and she had like a surprised look on her face. And when Malcolm told her, he said, you know, sister, let me tell you something. I'm the best thing that could be for you right now. Because everybody in this room know, if they don't listen to your husband, they're going to listen to me. And they'd rather listen to your husband than listen to me. And that's where I learned. It's very important for people to hear you. See, because I got that person inside of me. See, and I tell people all the time, when I'm up, when I say they, I mean those who would wish to oppress me. I say all the time, I say, look, you know, people say, brother, you're schizophrenic. And I say, yeah, I'm schizophrenic. I got 14 personalities. To be a black man in America, you got to have multiple personalities. My wife say I got 17 because there's 3 that I don't know. But it's who's in control that's important, because when that other person gets in control, see, because I've got Nat Turner in me. And I tell him, don't let him out. Because if he gets out, you're out. We all have Nat Turner in us. We all have Malcolm and Martin Luther King in us. We all have all those that came before us. We got the Harriet Tubmans in us. And what I warn people is, there's going to come a time when you're going to be sorry you didn't listen to those who were willing to negotiate. So, with that, family, thank you again. For those who might be interested in some of the books I write for us. Please, family, support your vendors, not just on my behalf, on all the vendors. They are our small black businesses that need to move to the next level. Your support of them is the support of yourself and for those yet to be born. Because I got a 100-year plan. I got a plan for children who will not even know my name. I'm not looking just for today. I'm looking for 100 years from now. Where do we want our children in the year 21, 24? Where do you want them on December 15, 21, 24? That's the plan. Peace, fans.
Okay, before we break, Senator Kevin Parker has brought something for you. And he would like to present it to you. So everybody, give us grace. Give us grace. Give us grace.
I'm good, brother. How you doing?
So, good evening. How's everybody doing?
Excellent.
Good. I'm State Senator Kevin Parker. I represent the 21st District right here in Brooklyn, which is Flatbush and East Flatbush, Midwood, Dippers Park, Canarsie, Flatlands, Mill Basin, Marine Park, and Bergen Beach. I'm the majority whip in the New York State Senate, as well as the chairman of the Energy and Telecommunications Committee in the New York State Senate. And Joe asked me to be here. Well, certainly wanted to honor you folks for getting together. This is an important conversation. And I know y'all look at me and like, hey, the corny dude with the bow tie on, I'm dressed with my day job. For 31 years, I've been an Africana Studies professor at Brooklyn College. In 1990, I went to Egypt with Dr. Ben and John Howard Clark and Ashwa Kwesi. So, you know, so some of the conversation and the way that we're having it is not something outside of conversations that I've been having, actually right on the street down at the Slave Theater. You know, watching a lot of things. So this conversation is an important conversation, and I think that there's a lot to to be developed. And I don't think this is going to be the conversation. I think it's hopefully uniting of a number of conversations that will happen to help elevate our community. But here, I have a proclamation from the Senate that I want to present. Want to just, again, acknowledge that there should be some official acknowledgement of what we're doing and why we're gathering and what we're getting together. Right now, in this moment, in New York, whether you think that it's working or not, we are in a unique moment. People talk about Wakanda and they're looking for some mythical place, but the reality is you have black elected officials elected in New York State in a way that they've never been elected before, from Letitia James, our Attorney General, to the Lieutenant Governor, the Chief Judge of the Appellate Court, the highest court in the state of New York, right? Rohan Wilson is a brother, right? Black mayor, black public advocate, black speaker of the city council, black speaker in the assembly, sister who's the head of the president of the Senate, right? And so this is a time for us. And you may have critiques of them, and that's fair. But the question is, have you been utilizing them? Have you critiqued them to them? Have you gone to them and said, what are we doing about XYZ issue that we're concerned about in our community? And if you haven't, then now you have an assignment, is to come see us and tell us what needs to be done in our communities, because only by your engagement are we going to know what needs to be done and how we should be moving. And that's part of why I'm here and listening, so that I can kind of get my marching orders about how I need to move on Monday. So again, thank you for this indulgence for a couple of minutes. Thank you very much for your knowledge, your wisdom, and your participation. All right? Come on, we need a picture, because I got to get my job done.
Give me a clip.
41. I'll move around in front.
Please. Can't say that.
All right.
I'll hold you back.
41. Got photographers in the back.
I'll get out your way. 1, 2. You got a photographer in the back.
Look.
Thank you.
Excellent.
Oh, wow. Thank you so much. I appreciate you. Thank you, family. Thank you. This is just the beginning. Let's get it on. Thank you, my sister. I appreciate you. Thank you.
Doc?
Yes.
I need a picture of you with me and you.
Sure.
Put it on the wall in my school.
All right, no doubt.
So what I would like you to do at this time, if you guys want to purchase the book, you guys can go ahead and purchase the book. And you stretch your legs a little bit. This is proclamation.
You know what? I'm so aggressive. I'm passionate.
Yes.
You guys can just
Another one. You want to hold the proclamation up?
So you're going to take about 5-10 minutes and we'll get back to it.
2, 3, relax.
Thank you.
Fantastic. Thank you, brother.
I think too
Yes, ma'am. Yes, ma'am. Thank you, brother.
Wait a second, everybody, wait. I got one more thing to say. We talked about a code of conduct. We talked about all this other stuff, agriculture. We need to have, we need to have positioning in particular places. He just rattled off a bunch of spaces that black people have positioned in New York City, in Brooklyn, that we should be taking advantage of, because they work for us. Now, he's a senator right now, but he's running for city controller. Now, for you guys who don't know what a controller is, he will tell you, because it's a very, very important job here in any city.
So 30 seconds. So running for New York City Controller, the Controller is the third most in command in terms, essentially the treasurer for the city. Is both in charge of the $114 billion that's your dollars, right? That represents the city budget, but also 5 pension funds. When you put it all together, we're talking about $350 billion. It's the third largest pension fund in the entire country after CalPERS, which is the state of California with 40 million people, the state of New York with 20 million people, and then the city of New York's pension fund, right? And again, that's your money, right? That's your teachers, that's people who work for, if you're a member of DC 37 or you're a firefighter, that's your money, right? And we haven't had a black person in charge of this money since Bill Thompson 20 years ago. And so I think it's time that we actually use our money to do the things that are priorities in our community and address the needs in our community. And that's why I'm running. The Democratic primary is in June of 2025, and hopefully I'll get your vote. Thank you.
Katique Sanchez. I'm an attorney. I'm one of the sponsors for this great event. Sheldon and I go way back. He's the organizer, owner of Victory United, I believe they're called. This is great. I love basketball. I grew up playing basketball. It's one of my biggest loves, so I'm very excited to be here.
How can we find you?
You can find me online. I'm on social media, Facebook, Instagram, even TikTok. I'm in Jackson Heights. You can call me at 646-701-7990.
Thank you, love. Hey, what's the deal? It's your boy Talent.
It's your girl, comedian Coca Brown.
And you know what time it is. We here with the icons like Tina Graham and all that good stuff.
Yes.
We are the Comedy Council for LOL Comedy Honors, man. Shout them out.
I'm saying though, we are recognizing everybody today, honey. We're recognizing George Wallace, Lou Nell, Lil Rel Howery, the incomparable Bernie Mac. Come on, it's about time that they acknowledged us, and we at the Comedy Council are making it happen.
DJ Mario TV, baby. It's just comedy.
What dab is that?
Yeah, I'm here.
While he's walking, I'm gonna shoot him. Okay, bro.
Hey,
what's up? What's up?
Focus.
Dab again. That's crazy.
We love you, Dad.
Got this, Cleveland.
We love you, Dad.
You got it.
Every day. Same corner every day.
Dab, can you just say a few words, Dab? Can you get a few words? You go back there. What's up, bro?
Yeah, everything's good, man.
Hey, Mario, tell me what's going on with your day.
Man, everything is great. You see this here? The people turn out for me, man. I want to get on the line and stay on the line with everybody, man.
All right, Dab.
Yeah, man.
All right, one love.
Man,
we got you.
I just love the support they're giving me, man.
That's what you're about, Dab.
Hey, Dad. Close it out, baby.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, you see where we at right here in Harlem at the Gap. Dab got his hoodies coming out. Dapper Dan, ladies and gentlemen, we'll see what we do in Harlem. If it ain't rough, it ain't right all day. I'm Kojak, Ellie Cleveland, Harlem Strong all day, DJ Mario. This is what we do in Harlem. If it ain't rough, it ain't right. Peace and love.
Hold on a second. Okay, there you go. Introduce yourself. I'm Mia, and I didn't even want to come here today, but my mom told me to come. So I wouldn't even have won this if I didn't come. Because I was planning to go to the mall today. Toma el micrófono en tu boca, mía. Yo no creo que sirve. So I wasn't even gonna win this. And I thought the raffles were just gonna be about book bags and stuff. But no, I won a whole skateboard. That's crazy. I feel amazing. That's wild. It's just thanks for the skateboard. Thank you, officers, for doing this. Well, thanks everyone for doing this. But I'm really happy for this skateboard. I do not know what to say.
Maybe my mom never buy me a skateboard.
My mom would have never bought me a skateboard. I don't know how to use a skateboard.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Please ask that young man what brings him out. Could you ask what brings that brother out?
Hey, young man with the beautiful salt and pepper beard, what brings you out tonight?
Work.
Work. Where we work at? What we doing?
No, we work at Comedy in Harlem, right?
Shut
all the fly, get the mic there. Where all the fly, most talented, improv, special human comics come to do their stuff, you know what I mean? Want you all come out, come join us. We live, we outside, we do it the biggest out here, all right? You come mess with us, we'll take care of you.
If you know, you know. If you know, you know. All right, he was holding down that door, and he's here holding down this door. Comedy in Harlem, grand reopening right here on 147th and St. Nicholas. I was born and raised here. Literally, you know how much closer to home they are right now? I can't wait for the show to start. Thank you, Jamie. Thank you, Nikki. And shout out to Harlem!
Is your Mario?
Hey everybody, it's your girl Lunell here at the red carpet at the LOL Comedy Honors. Shout out to Tina Graham, the godmother of comedy, and DJ Mario TV.